Hey champions, before we dive into the first episode of our SoloDark campaign, The Sepulchre of the Cursed Crown, I just wanted to say that we are using the SoloDark system, which is played within Shadowdark, which is available on the Arcane Library. And I was still kind of learning the system to begin with. You know, running with an Oracle and running myself through a TTRPG system, or a little campaign actually, is interesting. But you'll see I stumble, I learn along the way. I hope you learn along with me. And it's been fun. You know, we started with a level 0 gauntlet essentially, which is just a meat grinder, and you're gonna have some fun watching this. Let me know what you think. It's just past midnight as the others gather in the graveyard. Torches begin to light, revealing tombstones and various statues covered in moss and vines. The large willow tree blows in the breeze, and their leaves come tumbling down to the hard earth below. It's finally time. You've been waiting for this moment. A chance to prove that you have what it takes to become a part of the Dungeoneer Society. You and others like you receive an invite 2 weeks ago to meet at the Sanctum of the Slumbering, a graveyard at the edge of town. Word has it, a new dive has been found, and this time, the Dungeoneer Society was opening it up to pledges. As you approach, the group amassing around a large marble structure, statues of heroes past guard the entrance, and a large wrought iron gate. Chiseled into the stone above, the entrance reads, Sepulchre of the Crown. Although, someone has gone out of their way to hang a little sign between the and the crown. It now reads, The Sepulchre of the Cursed Crown. An elderly halfling with large, thick sideburns clad in leather stands at the entrance, flanked by 4 other individuals. Each of them look battle-hardened and like they've delved many a dive. The large eyebrows on the halfling, that's gotta be him. It's Fast Hands Fogpot, leader of the Dungeoneer Society. He jots down something in his notebook, stows it away, and lights a pipe. After a long drag, he speaks as the crowd begins to hush. Tonight's the night, pledges. Another delve has been discovered, and we're cracking it open tonight just for you. Word is there's a lovely piece of treasure in there that would be a great fit for the hallowed halls of the Dungeoneer Society, the Goblet of the Fallen Hero. And I said to myself, Self, wouldn't it be grand if I welcomed in new recruits and also got a nice new shiny? And I, as the ever clever one, sent for you all to meet here tonight. As he speaks, other Dungeoneers are placing bracelets on pledges' wrists. One particularly grim individual looks at you and harshly grabs your wrist and places a bracelet on you. Now, as you can see, only 4 can enter in the Sepulchre at a time. Something about HR guidelines and such. He looks around and you can see one kind of meek halfling in the back with a notepad, nodding and putting their glasses out. So when, and I mean when, one of you drops the bracelet, there will teleport your corpse out and we'll bring a new one for you. Just like that. And don't think of even running off the bracelet. This bracelet here is filled with a toxin that will release the moment you pass through that ward over there. And as you look back, you see an elderly Dungeoneer etching something into the ground, and it glows bright blue. The Dungeoneer looks up and just goes, Well, I think there's no time for dilly and dally, don't you? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. His finger lands on 3 individuals, and finally on you, Oob, the Pole Master. Now's your chance, he says with a smile creeping across his face. Oob, the Pole Master. And let's pick Spark. You see a little kobold who's in the background just just kind of being pushed up forward. You see another goblin, actually a goblin that you worked with back in the day, Cracknock. And he is a little bit less of a savory individual. And Thror, a large dwarf, comes bounding forward. But let's dive in to the first part tonight. Now let's see if any of our characters here have a torch. Spark has a torch, Cracknock doesn't, and Thror doesn't, and we know for sure as hell that our boy Oob does not. So as the ever confident Thror walks in, he decides that he kind of pushes himself through and goes, "Don't worry, I'll lead the way." And the thing about Shadowdark is that you have to fight in the light, and that in every time the light goes out, everything is done at disadvantage. So the point of keeping a torch up is incredibly important. And when you are playing SoloDark, one of the main rules here is that 10 rounds and the torch goes out. Okay, so let's roll initiative for everybody here, and we'll see who goes first. It'll go Cracknock, and then it'll go Thror, and then it'll go Spark, and then Oob will go last. Okay, so here's the thing. When I've laid out, I did a roll. I knew that there was going to be 8 rooms in this dungeon, but I didn't roll what was in this dungeon first. I wanted to do that with all of you. So what we're going to do first is Cracknock steps forward into the dungeon. He looks around, and we want to know, is there anything out of place here in this sepulcher, as it were? So let's roll a d20 and let's see what happens. 2. So it's a no. So there's nothing out of place in here right now as we move into this room, but I'm also going to roll on a d10. So when we enter a room, we're going to figure out what's actually in this room. I rolled a 10. I'm actually going to expend a luck. I'm going to expend a luck on that, because that would have been a boss monster. Imagine having a boss monster the moment we come in on this. A d10. 8. So as we enter into this room, there is a major hazard. The major hazard, we have to roll on a d6. A d6 is a 4. It says entrapping terrain. So if we look at Shadowdark and we look at the traps here, and this is what a lot of solo RPGs is you're going back and forth looking at things here. So we know that it's an entangling trap. So we know that we want it to do something and kind of put someone stuck there, so paralyze. So a major hazard would be something like, obviously, grasping vines. As it's Cracknock's first time, he comes across a bunch of ensnaring grasping vines as he moves into this room. He immediately steps in, and these vines just wrap him and hold him there. Thankfully, Cracknock's not holding any light sources. So he says, just go around. I think this is going to deal some damage to it. It's going to deal some constricting damage. Let's roll 1d4. Okay. So we've had our first death. Cracknock had 1 HP. As the grasping vines continue to go further and further and wrap around Cracknock, he's saying, go around the vines, go around the vines. The vines wrap around his neck and just snap his neck, and he is kaput. And just like that, a new person comes in, and it is going to be a female dwarf by the name of Gur. Gur comes in with a long braided beard and braided hair, and she starts to step forward into the room. Now let's roll d20 and see where she is on the initiative. She's got some pretty good stats. So 12. Thror would go first, Spark would go second, and she would go third. So with Thror now up, he moves, and in Shadowdark you don't move by normal feet. You either go close, near, or far, which is 5 feet, 30 feet, or within sight. The maximum a character can move is 30 feet. So he's going to take his movement. He's going to move 10 feet here, and he's go along the wall, along the side here. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He does see a blood splatter on the ground, and he goes, all right, guys, come on. Be careful. Be careful. Come around here. Spark up next just moves around. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20. Now, Thror is next up on the initiative thing, but you hear in the background something rumbling off in the distance. You're not 100% sure what it is, but it continues just to... They don't know exactly what's going on. So, I will have our good old dwarf here at the top of his round check something. After 2 crawling rounds, which we've only had 1 crawling round, where someone died already, I have to roll an encounter. So let's see what happens after the end of this round. I'll let you know that for right away at the beginning. So Thror is going to peek down the hallway. Does Thror see anything down the hallway? Let's do a perception check on that one. Roll the 20. 15. And his wisdom, so negative 14. So he kind of looks down the hallway. The light of the torch is guiding them pretty far. He sees, he doesn't get to see too much. So he's like, all right, let's go down this way. He's going to move 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm just going to keep it on Thor. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Now, the rest of the party moves in behind him. But Oob being the ever safe pole master, says something. Oh, we have to take care. We have to make sure that we're all right. We don't want to make sure we're getting anything bad happening. Let me give you the pole. He goes to hand out his pole, but as the end of this encounter happens, we have to roll a D100. And that came up with is that a 4? That's a 4. So if we look at I just rolled on in Shadowdark, you have a bunch of things you can roll on. You hear in the background just, they're not 100% sure what they hear, but it doesn't sound, it sounds like it's a little occupied at the moment. So what I did roll, by the way, and this is full transparency for everybody, a roving owlbear scavenges for dead bodies to eat. So something is eating, the owlbear is eating something somewhere in here. So I'm going to grab the owlbear stat block here, and owlbears are probably not going to be fun. Let's be honest. Thror at the top of the round says, everyone stay down, be quiet. So they need to be a little bit more stealthy. Now, as they are, none of them are halflings, so they're not naturally stealthy, but they're not wearing any heavy gear, so they can be a little bit more stealthy as time goes on. He is going to roll a d20. See where Thror gets. 18. And I believe stealth is dexterity. So let's just ask, does Thror effectively stealth himself with SoloDark? The Oracle says yes, but since it's an odd number, I have to have a turn of phrase. So he is stealthed, but I have to roll another D100. 30. First word is capture. 96. Capture harm. So when you kind of interpret that, I would say, yeah, he's stealth, but as he kneels down and stealths, he kneels down and his knee gets stuck on a old spike trap that was activated before. So let's see how much damage he takes. Maybe Thor's gonna die. We'll see. It's an old caltrop, let's just say, for the sake of everything here. 1 damage. He takes 1 damage. And Thor has 3 HP, so he'll be fine. Let's just put his 3. We'll put 2 here. Save settings. Perfect. So he has 2 out of 3 health right now. He nails down. Oh, damn it. Let's roll against the owlbear. The owlbear just chirps up. Let's ask the oracle. Did the owlbear pay attention or listen to the noise? 13. So if we go to that is an odd. So yes, it did pay attention to the noise, but something happened again. So let's roll on the prompts table. But 26 is pursue. Uh-oh. 30. Pursue lead. Oh no. So with the noise that Spark made and the bleeding from Thor, something has awoken and garnered the attention of the owlbear. So let's find a place where to put the owlbear. I would say we're going to put the owlbear over here. Of course we run into an owlbear. Of course. Oh, it's so cute. It's definitely, what size is it? An owlbear is, so surely it's a big boy. So the owlbear now begins to move down the row here on the turn. So top of the round, what is Thror, Spark, Gur, and Oob going to do? Oh my god, what are we going to do here? I think Thror, being the ever brave one, will start his round and be like, he pulls out his short bow and he rolls to attack. 11 plus his dex plus 2. So that is 13, which just meets his AC, so it hits. And oh god, this is not going to go well. His short bow does 1d4 damage. We're in trouble here, y'all. And hits the owlbear. So the owlbear has 30 points. And hit him for 3. Okay, so that's not great. 27. The owlbear just riles up, and now everyone is technically in initiative. Rut-row indeed. So let's roll initiative. All we have to do is, and also I should be doing counters for this. That was round 3. Thror immediately says, "All right, everyone, just stay with me." And we're fighting now an owlbear in a tight quarters. Roll initiative for Thror and gang. So that was with Thror's initiative. That is 19, 20, 21. And with the owlbear, is that a 14? Is that a 20? Is that, what is that? It's a nat 20. And the dexterity on that is 21. Oh, wow. So whoever has the more, well, we will go first because we have +2 to our dexterity. So we go first. How do you have a cock to die in a virtual table? It's insane. All right, so Thror is going to go first. He surprised the owlbear, and he is going to move right up stupidly with his 3 HP, and he's going to roll to attack with his club. And his club does, it's going to do 1d4 damage. Well, let's see if he actually hits. He does not. So he swings his club and just misses, and he's already in in trouble. So in SoloDark, by the way, there is a rule where we're doing group initiative. So choose one character and one enemy and make initiative checks on behalf of their respective groups. You decide the order of actions on each group's turn. That can be done different from round to round. So I think, and I haven't done this naturally before, so it might be a little tough, but I would imagine next up goes Gur has no weapons, and Spark has iron spikes. Oh boy. So iron spikes do 1 point of damage, can only move at half speed for 10 rounds. So in Spark's own interest, she's gonna run forward and she's gonna throw caltrops. Let's just do a dexterity check first though. So 3. She doesn't throw them very far, but she's actually gonna lay down her caltrops right here on the ground. Gur is going to start to panic and move out of the way, and Oob, our boy, comes up behind. The owlbear, now thoroughly enraged, is going to roll to attack Thror, whose AC, by the way, is 12. Does it hit? Owlbear's attack, oh my god, it's a 15 with its claws. It definitely hits, and let's just roll damage. Let's just see what happens, okay? Crush deals an extra die of damage if it hits the same target with both claws, so it didn't. But it does 1 d10 damage. Please be 1. Please be 1. Please be 1. Oh my god. The foolhardy Thror meets his end by an owlbear swiping and destroying Thror. Thror is now dead, and the torch is now down. You hear like another snap, and you can see a human pop in right beside you all. So let's roll a d20. It's a yes, but the question I'm going to ask is the owlbear looking for Thror's body? Yes. And it's an even, so yes, he is. He's now the owlbear is kind of like looking around through the corpses. The torch is gone. Everything's kind of gone here, but no one's 100% sure what the hell's going on, where the items are. So Spark, the ever lovely Spark, lights up her torch. Now everybody decides that they have to get the hell out of here. So they all decide to move 30 feet. While the Oracle has said, and thank you to the Oracle. So 1 round, they move here. Another round, they move here. Now we have to roll something on the encounter table. I'm sorry I'm all over the place too. Like I'm trying to I'm still learning the whole thing as we go. 80. As we move down here into the next room, we're going to move the map. As they come down to this hallway here, they are led by Spark. Spark then sees at the corner of this area here a dryad. And what we rolled on the ruins encounters, a dryad searches for her tree that bugbears chopped up, which doesn't necessarily fit with what's going on in the area, but as you can see, this dryad is tall, slender, and actually looking relatively sickly as it continues to move through, and it moves forward and forward and through the thing. And Spark is, hello? The dryad looks up, just what do you mean, where or who? Let's ask the Oracle. Is the dryad hostile towards kobolds? Yes, but 56. But break friend. So break friend, break friend, break friend. They're pissed off that a bugbear broke their tree, but they will break friend. Okay, so you see the dryad, and this is a part of, by the way, of doing solo TTRPGs. You have to like think about kind of the prompt of where you want the story to go next. You see the dryad now in the light as it comes forward, holding a limb of its tree. Where is my friend? And Spark looks around, just your friend. Now, I think Spark thinks herself a little bit of a, you know, wise around the block, and decides to give it a chance. And she's gonna lie and says, "Oh well, it's just up that way, down the hall over here." So let's roll a d20. Charisma. 13 plus 1, 14. 14 to lie. Okay. Now let's see if the dryad buys it. Let's roll against their charisma. Oh, their charisma is only a +1. So I would say, contesting the rolls, they buy it. The dryad just and moves down the hallway, down into the dark. Now, I'm going to flip a coin. Octopus, which is a 2, we go up, and 1, we go down. All right. It fell off the table. It's a 2. So we go up. We're going to move up 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the rest of them 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So the group is still doing very well for themselves. Now, Spark is going to sniff around and see if they see anything out of place. So, does Spark smell something foul to the left or to the right? Or does Spark smell something foul? We have to have a yes or a no. Whoop, sorry, roll d20 first. My bad. Yes, they do smell something foul. Now, let's decide again if it's left or right. Decided with the coin flip, right. So Spark, being a kobold and, you know, loving anything rotting, she kind of thinks to herself as, come down here. Let's go. She moves 5, 10, 15, 20. And then I keep forgetting everyone else has got to have their turns, so we will do that right now. Let's just say the ranger here, who his name's not Ranger, Malorok, the human, who you can see has kind of like cult scars on the side of his face from the local cults in town, looks around and says to himself, I got a bad feeling about this. And he's going to see, is there any, you know what, let's roll for this room up here first to see what we get. That's a 7 on the die. Oh, we rolled a monster. And let's roll for the type of monster, d6. 6. Mutated. Oh, no, sorry. That's not it. Organized. Organized warriors. Oh God. So what I think we're going to run into here is, what do we think would be in the ruins? You know, obviously goblins. So what about bugbear warriors? Oh, bugbear warriors coming back from the chopped down tree. I do like that. So how about we have a goblin? How many do we have? Let's just roll a d4. 3 of them. So we'll have a bugbear, a goblin, and a goblin shaman in there. We walk in, we're gonna hear, and I don't know if I'm doing this exactly 100% right, so we'll figure out how this goes and how this kind of plays out as we continue on down this little chat here. Melorock says, everyone quiet, I think I hear something. And you can hear stuff in the background, just, oh, what are we doing? I hear another guy, I chopped down a tree or something. I think I got a lot of it if you want some. I don't want any of it. So all goblins and bugbears have keen senses, so they can't be surprised. All right, so we know that's out of the gate here. Melorock's gonna try and convince the group to go back. No, we can't be here. We have to get back here. This isn't a good idea. We're asking for trouble right now. Oh God. He rolled a negative. He rolled a 1. So everyone's like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. But he can hear something coming down the hallway, and he knows that they're in trouble there. To hell with you guys. And he immediately begins to move backward. He's going to move backward here. Next up is Gur. Did Gur notice or hear the talking? Asking the Oracle. D20. 19. Yes, but... Getting a lot of butts here today. 71. But... Scatter... 52. Scatter sorcery. Gur immediately, I don't know if we should really and then all of a sudden you hear a boom. A loud explosion just rocks the cave and a large shock wave comes through. Spark needs to do a dexterity saving throw. 7 she gets knocked right on her ass. She flies back, poof, on the ground. You hear the goblins, what the bloody hell was that? And the sound of footsteps just off into the distance. Now Gur gets up and just, is everyone all right? Gur decides to move to investigate a little bit further. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Now Gur can't see too much into the next room, but what she can see is there's the hint of a temple almost. Now we're not at 2 rounds yet. Next up is Oob. Oob now is just kind of like searching around, looking through trash. You know what? Let's just go forward. And he just moves another 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Does Oob notice anything out of the ordinary? I always roll a D. It should be a D20. My bad. 8. 8 on the Oracle check is a no. Doesn't notice anything out of the ordinary. That's the end of the round. That's end of round 1. Now, this torch was ignited a couple rounds back. We still have, I think, 4 rounds left. So we're good with that. Start of the next round. Spark. Ever looking for this foul smell. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 30. Walked into a room, and you can see in this room an old pillars and what seems to be like somewhat of a temple. Maybe this is where people would have prayed when someone had died and was put into rest in the sepulcher. Now, does Spark notice anything out of the ordinary? No, nothing out of the ordinary. Now, let's roll a D10 again for this room. Shall we? 6. Now, a 6 on our list is an NPC. Now, let's roll up an NPC, shall we? Now, is this NPC hiding, captive, wounded, or rival crawlers? This is perfect. This is when the Oracle fits out perfectly. We see we rolled a 10 on the die, so it's a halfling, a wounded halfling. And let's not figure out anything. You kind of see a wounded halfling right here, a halfling male. A halfling male is laying by the altar. Spark immediately goes, "Oh, guys, come in here, come in here. There's someone wounded." Even though she's moved her 30 feet, she kind of whispers out, "Hello, are you okay?" Now let's see. I'm going to flip a coin. Let's see if the halfling's conscious. 1 equals conscious. 2 equals unconscious. Equals 2. He's unconscious. So after a little bit of a pause, she doesn't hear anything. I think he's out. Gur. Now Gur's background, we don't have too much of a background on her, but she's lawful and she's an acolyte. So, and she's probably seen some horror in her day. So she decides to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, take her movement over here. And she's going to investigate to see if this person's okay. 5 with intelligence, it's just a 5. She looks around and she just kind of goes, "Oh, he's dead." And you hear from down the hall 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I don't think he's dead. Does Meloric hear anything? 15. He hears something, yes, but we got to roll on the butt table. The butt table. I'm a child. 64. Warn. 69. Nice. Warn exploration. So Meloric heard something and guys, I hear something. We got to be careful back there. Oob, that was a great roll, by the way. The ever lovely Oob decides to move in here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Now, Oob is constantly looking for the gauntlet. Does he notice anything that might lead him to the gauntlet? Let's ask. My bad. I meant to do a D20. 10. So 10, if you do a 10 on the SoloDark tree, it is a twist. So a twist, something unexpected happens. Roll a prompt and determine its nature. So we got to roll a prompt again. 78. Sacrifice. Uh-oh. 2. Guys, I'm not even kidding you. Sacrifice life is what we got here. So Oob, looking around the room, sees that this is kind of a a temple. Now, he looks up at the altar, and the altar on top of it has a gigantic carving of a goblet. So Oob, looking around, looks and just goes, maybe the orcs were doing something in here. Maybe they had something going on with the altar there. So you can ask 3 questions per round to see if something happened. So what you want to do is ask no more than 3 questions per situation. So we've already asked 1 question. Let's ask another question. Can Oob discern? Was there some sort of ritual going on here and the goblins got scared out of here? That's a 9. So that's a no. But it's an odd number, so we have to roll a prompt. 69 again. Flee. 28. Flee friend. Flee friend. So he discerns, he can't tell if they're doing anything for the sacrifice here, but he saw the explosion happen, heard the explosion, and he says they must have been running from something. Do you think it could have been like an ally of theirs or something, and they had to go run and save them? So he's not 100% sure what happened in this room. He's going to take his turn here, and that would be the end of this round. Now we are into round 2. It's been 2 rounds. We have to do a ruins check, a ruins encounter check. Let's see if anything happens. 61. Oh, no way. We just rolled 3 D4 goblin scavengers, barter and trade for odd trinkets. So let's roll 3 D4. 4, 5, 6. You hear coming down the path were the goblins that we had seen before. Let's just do a bunch of them. You hear the goblins coming back up the hall and saying, well, that's it. I was just trying to get the stuff done and it was all fun. What are you all doing here? What are you doing with him? The group immediately is kind of like in a standstill. They're not 100% sure what they're going to do. Let's ask the Oracle. They are bartering and trading for odd trinkets. Do they outwardly look like they're here to barter first? Sorry, I meant to be a D20. 1. That's a critical. So to us, that's a critical failure. Oh boy. So I would say Spark definitely looks at them and immediately thinks they're here to attack them. Now Spark, our kobold, will be like, we don't want any trouble here. I'm gonna and she begins to brandish her. She just holds her bag of iron spikes up, and let's see if the goblins are going to be hasty or actually go right to attack. Will they attack? I'm going to use a luck. I'm going to expend a luck here. 1. So no, they don't look like they're going to attack. One of the female goblins rolls her hands up and goes, "Whoa, no trouble here. We just want to sell a few things. You got a little, is that little shinies in your hand there?" And she kind of licks her lips, just, well, Oob, our resident goblin, moves up and says, "Oh, we got some shinies here. What are you looking for?" Actually, does he's gonna ask them, will they barter for information? 15. Yes, but 40. Avoid. 52. Avoid what? Avoid sorcery. So I'm a sound. It seems like they'll trade for information, but we just got to not talk about or use any magic. So what's happening right now is just found out that they'll trade for information, but we don't want to talk about any magic. The goblin itself looks over and just goes, "Yeah, well, we have some information, but you ain't one of them magic users, are you?" And he kind of picks his teeth. Oob looks up and goes, "Oh, no, not one of them magic users." Gur comes up and looks off to the side and says, "What happened with him?" One of the other goblins, one of the female goblins, says, "Don't give him any information yet. What do you have that you will part with?" And Spark looks up and says, I've got some iron spikes if you want them. And no, need something better. Looks over at Gur. I've got this grappling hook. No, not better. I need something better than that. Now let's see what Malarok has. Malarok comes up and he has a bag of caltrops. Holds up things like, whatever you can tell us about the halfling and this ruin, it's yours. Will the goblins accept this? Dice be on our side. No, but dice are not on our side. No, but 38. Pull. Uh-oh. Pull thought. So they have to be creative here. So they're gonna, what I take from pull thought is like they have to try and sell these caltrops to them. Now Malarok looks over and says, I'm not really the most smart one here. So how about you, Spark? Just listen, just try and sell it to them, and that this is probably the best caltrops they're ever gonna need here. Spark kind of clears her throat and are you sure these caltrops were forged in the homeland of the goblins? 14 plus 1, that's a 15. Now let's see if the goblins accept now. And I kept forgetting to roll with the odds. It's a 50-50 chance for them to roll with the odds. So let's see if they'll... I will say that they were successful on selling it better. So it's likely or certain, which is roll with the Oracle, check with advantage. So let's roll the Oracle, check with advantage, take the highest number, 18, 17. So it's a yes with an 18. One of the goblins goes, oh, yes, give it to me here. They immediately snatch the caltrops from Malarok and says, oh, what you just gotta do there is you just gotta, unfortunately, finish the job with that halfling there, and well, you'll get the answer of where the goblet lies. And they all kind of slink back into the darkness. So now our party knows that if they take care of this halfling, they will get information on where they need to go. Now the group has a decision, and I think we all have to figure out what we're gonna do with this. There's a halfling in front of them. The halfling, if they sacrifice this halfling, they'll get an answer. But we have to take a look at the alignments of everybody. Spark is chaotic. Gur is lawful. And Melnon is lawful. And Oob is chaotic. So we have 2 lawfuls, 2 chaotics. So I would say there's an even chance that through discussion, they decide if they're going to sacrifice this halfling to get their prize. I think that's fair. So the even chance would be like, roll your oracle check with just a standard d20. They decide that they're going to sacrifice the halfling to get an answer of where the goblet is. But there is a but, because it's an odd number. But what? 80. Hint. 64. Hint death. Let's turn the story around a little bit. It's because we're getting dark. As they get closer and closer to the halfling, they realize that this halfling is already near death. And they decide that while they are trying to find this artifact, it would be also good to ease him on his way. Now, Oob and Spark are the chaotic ones, so either of them will do it. So let's just do a d4. 1 to 2 is Spark, and 3 to 4 is Oob. Spark comes up and ends the life of the halfling. There's no bracelet on this halfling, so the halfling doesn't disappear, and the blood begins to pour out. Does anything happen? No, but 98, uncover. Oh, is that a 1? Yeah, uncover fault. They hear in the background just like a and something somewhere has unlocked. So we figured something out there. Now the torch is beginning to flutter and darkness is starting to creep ever in. Spark only has 1 torch. Gur doesn't have a torch. And Malarok doesn't have a torch. They got to figure out what they're going to do next. But I think we should probably end that off there for tonight.